We're rolling? Yeah. Amazing. We're here with Matt Wright and Anna Taylor. We're going to talk to Matt first, because Matt, you've just done a cool climb lately, haven't you? You've just done an E11. What was it?
Lexicon.
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 Amazing. So that's the 11, Matt. You must have, that's so up there, you must have built it up, and lots of E10s and loads of E9s and more E8s than you can count. Can you tell us about your, what's called the plateau in sports terms?
Oh yeah, so I think I've been trad climbing for about, well, I've done a little bit in the past, but I've done it properly for about 3 months.
3 months, well that's a pretty long time.
Yeah. Not long enough really to be on an E11. Yeah.
So you built it up quite quickly, is that right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. But with a sport climbing background, I think it's, I chose a route that's, well, it's bold as hell. I really didn't want to fall off it, but it is quite sporty.
Right, okay,
so,
yeah. So that's the right one for you. It was just about 6 months ago, it was in the headlines, because Gresham did it, and then didn't Steve McClure nip in for a ascent, then Macleod. Have you met all these guys?
Yeah, I have, yeah. I've actually had a little chat with all of them about it.
Okay.
It's quite cool, yeah.
Compare those 3 climbers. What are they like as climbers, and who's...
Oh, okay. So you got Neil, the most dedicated climber in the world, I swear. Huge inspiration, probably the best coach living, surely.
Really?
I just really look up to him.
Yeah.
And you got Strong Steve. He needs a little introduction, doesn't he?
No, I know.
He's obviously like super strong.
Yeah.
I think Lexicon was probably a bit of a path for him.
Right, yeah.
Took a monster whipper, but
beautiful, wasn't it? It was in the
brave.
Brit Rock.
Yeah. God, he should not have taken that fall. And then obviously you got Dave Mac, who again, he's like super dedicated. Probably the most experienced trad climber in the world, would you say? I mean, possibly. He's got to be up there.
Yeah. Beat Camelander or something like that.
Yeah. Absolutely incredible climber. Yeah. And there's me, who's it doesn't quite kind of fit in with any of them.
Little grubby climber that's come out of nowhere.
Some little bummy climber.
Do you think those guys are all sitting around talking about all the best trad climbers, and your name pops up sort of regularly?
Oh God, definitely not. Yeah. No, I think it must have been a fluke.
Right, so give us a rundown about yourself as a sport climber, quick.
Yeah. So I kind of originally was a bit of a boulderer, really. Like I always counted myself as a sport climber, but all the hard sport routes I've done were basically boulder problems at Raven Tour or, whatever really. So I gained like a really strong baseline. I think the boulder problems and stuff at Raven Tour are quite technical as well, so you get quite technically good as well. And then I've just kind of like been doing bigger and bigger stuff. And there's a couple of routes that I've had on my mind recently that have been quite endurance-y, so we're training for them, and then I think it kind of set me up really nicely for Lexicon.
Nice.
Really.
Huh.
Yeah.
So what made you choose Lexicon? Is it the fact that it's sporty and...
I think I thought it was sporty when I first decided I was going to do it, but then like when I had done it for the first time, I was like, right, that is not sporty.
By sporty you mean safe?
I thought it was going to be safe, but I mean, if you consider a bloody deck out from 30 metres safe, then it's definitely not safe. Yeah. No, it's definitely not safe. I really wouldn't want to take that fall.
Right.
Yeah.
Tell us about doing it.
I mean, it was quite funny, wasn't it? Because the E6 was like absolutely awful. Like I climbed it probably about as bad as I could have. Just like, like shaking like a shitting dog, and just kind of like, just trying to put the gear in and just like making an absolute mess of it. When I didn't even put gear in for the first like 1/3 of it, because I was like, I just didn't really know what I was doing. And then
like chucking the things over your shoulder.
Yeah. And then just like quested up the head wall, and I was thinking, right, when I get to this break, I'm getting the gear in, I'm lowering down, I'm not going for that head wall. And I kind of like got up there and
you
just like,
it. You top roped it?
Yeah, I top roped it loads. I had like 6 sessions roughly. Yeah, like 6 sessions in total, so I probably spent like 5 sessions messing around on the top rope. But then, yeah, when I got to that break, I was like, right, I'm going to lower down once I've got this gear in. But I just kind of like relaxed for a bit, just chilled, just shook out, and I was probably there for about 10 or 15 minutes, and then eventually I stopped shaking, then I just relaxed a bit, got my breathing sorted, and I was like, right, I know this head wall really well. I haven't fell off it for the last like 8 times that I've tried it. I know I'm going to do it if I just keep my cool. So yeah, I just set off and managed to do it. Yeah.
Any moment? Did you have a moment?
No, actually, it was quite funny because when I was like right at the top, so there's like a move where I get a heel in right at the top, and it's like the very last hard move, and if you get the right hand hold, it is done.
Yeah.
And like when I was there, I kind of like put the heel on. I was like a total punter. It was just like literally like, you know, just like pull it on the urette, and I was like just like this, and I realised exactly where I was. I was like, shit, I cannot fall. So I just
describe what it looks like. They look down at the rope, Matt. Do
you know?
I look down at the rope, going how like sort of 12 meters to the last runner. What's that look like?
Do you know? I actually didn't look at all, but I realised I knew exactly where I was because I'd looked down from up there like loads when I was trying it, and I was like looking down. I was like, whoa, God, I cannot take that fall. But so I had like this photographic like image in my head of like how far I was above this gear, and I realised exactly where I was. So I was like, right, I cannot fall here, and I was just climbing like an absolute punter. Ended up getting the hold, and then I just turned into a stick basically. I had like 2 moves left, and I was just like, right, fuck, if I fall now, I'm like literally dead. So yeah, so I just managed to crank out the last few moves, but I was climbing like a stick. So
what do you mean?
Just like my whole body was just like, I was just like turned like really robotic. Yeah, but
was it pleasure?
Oh my God, grabbing that last jug, I was like, I think I was more like thankful that I was alive, to be quite honest. Yeah. No, it was one of the best feelings, but yeah.
Climbing's amazing, isn't it? Isn't climbing amazing?
It's amazing when you look back on it. In the moment, I was like, fuck, I don't really want to be here.
And is it E11?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, it's 8B plus climbing. If you fall off the crux of it, I mean, unless you're Steve McClure, you're probably going to screw yourself up. Yeah. So.
Oh, man. Were you beeling, Anna?
I was, unfortunately, yeah. It was one of the most horrifying experiences in my life. There's something Matt didn't mention when he was talking about the lower wall. When he mentioned he didn't put any gear in, all I was attached to was 2 rusty pegs. And where you belay, it's like a ledge sort of halfway up this cliff. There's an absolute death drop below you. So I was like, oh great, if he falls off, we're both going to die if these pegs
I think we're professional punters, aren't we?
I agreed to belay him, but I didn't agree to die with him if he falls off this.
No.
Hey, that must add to the grade if both members die.
Yeah, can I take the 11 now as well?
Yeah, I think you deserve the 11.
So in a way, like the actual Lexicon part of the route was almost the least stressful from.
It was, wasn't it? That lower wall was so stressy. Yeah. The weird thing is as well, you're protected by a peg halfway up, but this peg flexes like hell.
Right.
And I'm not convinced it'll take a fall.
Right.
Yeah. So it was quite funny, but to be honest, Anna deserves the credit anyway, because I would not want to belay someone on that.
So there's no chance of running. You can't do that thing of taking and sliding.
No, well that's the issue, because you really are just perched on this ledge with not a lot of good gear, and it's just if there was bomber gear, then you could sort of create some system where you could throw yourself off the ledge and take a load of slacking, but just off the gear that's available, I don't think you can.
Right.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't be safe for either party. So it's only really once you've got up to that ledge that there's gear in to potentially save you, but.
Right.
Yeah, it's not ideal really for for both climber and belayer.
Weird, isn't it?
Yeah. It is weird. Yeah, we're all just a bit odd, aren't we? Yeah.
You're climbing, Anna. You've been soloing a lot.
Yeah,
E5s
last
a
year.
lot.
Yeah, I don't really know how it happened. I just got into a bit of a habit of it. I think I was probably just being really antisocial and enjoying going out climbing on my own.
Yeah, definitely antisocial.
Well, yeah. There's an area in the Lake District called the Dudden Valley, and there was a new guide. Yeah, absolutely stunning. New guide was released for that, and I was flicking through it, going, oh, look at this E5, this one. Wanted to go and do them all, and a lot of my climbing partners weren't necessarily free in the middle of the day, so I just started going on my own and soloing stuff and sort of going up the grades a little bit. But I was very, I was careful about it, and that ended up with doing some slightly bigger stuff in a place called Hodge Close and a couple of mountain crags. So yeah, that was interesting.
I mean, yeah.
What was that E5?
It was 10 years after, so right up the middle of the main wall. But I think that was like definitely one of the best experiences I've ever had climbing. It was possibly, I mean, it might be the hardest thing I'll ever do soloing, but it was definitely one of those experiences where everything was just right, and I don't think that happens very often.
Did it feel headspace was right?
Yeah, I just worked it on a top rope, and I think the day I did it, it was very early on in the year, and the friction was just, you don't usually get a lot of friction on slate, but that day conditions were just, I think, as good as they'll ever be, and the moves were feeling a lot easier than they normally do. And yeah, I didn't intend to solo it that day. I went out just to have a mess about on the gree-gree. Everything felt good, and I just sort of decided in the moment, right, I'm going to do it. So abseiled down, took my harness off. And yeah, once you step off the ground on that kind of thing, you can't really go back. So,
amazing, isn't it?
But I actually really enjoyed it. It was just really nice. There was no one in the quarry either, so just being totally on my own in the moment, it was pretty good.
Yeah. Tried in Hodge Close last year. It's a really special place, isn't it? Really
special.
Special.
It's weird. It's kind of, in a lot of ways, it's really intimidating. But I think, well, this can probably be said for a lot of the slate quarries, and they're quite beautiful as well. And you've been quite a lot, haven't you?
Yeah, I really like Hodge Close.
Yeah, it's got its own sort of charm to it, hasn't it?
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. I think that's it with the quarries and British rock in general, is that we find the beauty in the ugly, don't we? Yeah, we'll see something like, it looks total crap, but we're just like completely like, oh, that looks bloody amazing.
Somebody put this photograph of sort of cloggy, and then talked about the amazing line of, the shimmering line of what I call Indian face, and then somebody else who's like American saying, I'm sorry, all I can see is a pile of rubble. I appreciate you've been there, it's quite nice, but all I can see is rubble on a hillside. Never mind the shimmering line.
Funny.
Never mind the shimmering line of Indian face.
Yeah, no, it's so typical.
Is it true you've swore to on-site the Indian face within the year? Have you sworn you're going to do
sworn to on-site Indian face? I think I'd have a death wish to even try and go for it.
I think you should.
Yeah. No, I'd love to do Indian face one day. Just mostly for respect for a couple of my good friends who have done it, and I just think like it's one of those routes that I think there's a lot of routes. I'm not saying Lexicon is I think Lexicon, there's a lot of certainty with Lexicon. As long as you don't fall off the top of it, you're all right. Whereas something with Indian face is that you've got to be a true master of trad climbing before you go for it, which I think I have a lot of respect for that. Yeah.
Not doing that, you're in trouble. You should do it, Anna. You should do it. You'd like it.
I kind of want to try it on top rope, but I've heard from everyone that's tried it on top rope that once they do that, they get sucked in and they can't stop thinking about it till they do it. So I'm scared.
Yeah.
I think one day both of you go up and both lead it.
Oh, that'd be incredible.
Be a good date, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, if you're lucky.
Oh, amazing. Hey, cheers for that, you guys. Yeah, it's been really good fun.
No, thanks a lot, Niall.
Chat sometime in the future, but I just hear about that. It's so cool you did that, Matt. Really amazing.
No, thank you, Niall.
I didn't think you were going. Not that I didn't think you were going to do, but that's amazing.
Yeah, no, I was really pleased.
Sort of big climbers during the war, they do those big maps, and they push the German tanks and that sort of thing. You can sort of see McCloud getting pushed down towards that the whole time. It was inevitable that he was going to go and do it.
Oh yeah. I don't think anyone really expected that I was going to do it, to be quite honest. I didn't tell anybody I was trying it either, so I think it kind of come out of nowhere a little bit. Yeah. And I think like when I did my first E8 a few months ago, and then my first E9 a few weeks after that, and then skipped E10 and go to E11, people are probably thinking, what the hell are you doing?
You did go from E8 to E11 in about 2-3 months, maybe, something like that?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think I've got one proper E8, one proper E9, and an E11. Yeah.
That's not a stable pyramid, is it?
No, not really, no. I'm not being yeah, I don't like to follow the norm though. Yeah.
Oh, thank you too. Yeah, amazing. Nice
Thanks
to see
for having
you.
us.
Yeah. No, thank you, Niall.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you, BMC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.